Richard Schaefer made an interesting statement today when he said that he believes that your protege Joe Joyce is the best heavyweight in the world right now, and that he will be a world champion by next year. Your thoughts?
Well, I think he is going to be a world champion by next year. Being the best heavyweight, I think we have 3 exceptional heavyweights right now with some belts around their waist. But eventually, I think by the end of the year, by the beginning of next, Joe Joyce will be amongst those champions.
You know, boxing insiders always say that working with heavyweights and heavyweight boxing belongs in a different category to all the other weight divisions. As one of the kind of training gurus in world boxing today, do you see it as very much a different challenge and a different category of coaching?
Oh, absolutely, it's a different challenge. But I've had all weights. I've had a 118-pound champion, and I've had one of the greatest cruiserweights today as a champion too. So you just have to adapt your training to the particular fighter, not the particular weight, but the particular fighter. Because there's some fighters that you can push a little bit harder. There's some fighters that you have to really push, and there's some fighters that really are on autopilot and you can just teach. Joe Joyce is one of those fighters that is in the gym working just as hard as the middleweights, just as hard as the lightweights, and not presenting you with any kind of difficulties, no questions, does what he's told, shows up on time. That's why he's progressed so fast in the last 8 months.
There's a lot of mystique around the trainer's art and what makes somebody a great coach. Are you one of those coaches who very much needs to enforce your blueprint on a fighter, or are you somebody who wants to work with him? Sometimes, some people will say, for instance, that anybody could have trained Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, and he just knew how to work with them. He'd let Ali think that things were his idea, and he made little suggestions. Other trainers are a lot more kind of dictatorial. They say it's got to be this. Which category do you fall into? Do you feel?
I think I'm an old-fashioned coach. I think that I believe in some of the old ways of training. We are the coaches. We get blamed when we lose, and we don't get any credit when we win. But I think that the fighter needs to understand that they hired us for a reason. Let us impart our wisdom and our experience on them. I believe that a certain style of fighter is suited for me, and when I take on a fighter, I make sure that I take them on for 2 or 3 weeks and make sure they understand what kind of training I'm going to do and what kind of results I'm looking for. I'm not going to work with somebody for 2 years and then not be able to sell them anywhere because the crowd doesn't want to see him or the promoter doesn't want to promote him.
So that's interesting. You like aggressive, come-forward fighters? Will Gennady Golovkin be seen as a good blueprint for your boxing value base?
Yeah, if you remember Terry Norris, he was a very aggressive fighter too. All my fighters have always been very aggressive. I teach an aggressive defense. That's what I like to call it.
Aggressive counter-punching?
I'm going to be on top of you, and I'm going to make you do what I want you to do. My guys are going to fight to the best of their ability, and if we can't beat you with our best, then we can't beat you. But my record speaks for itself. After so many champions and after so many wins, I think that my style seems to be working, so I'm not going to change it.
I'm really curious about this because I've never heard you speak about this actually. You've probably been asked the question before. Did you box?
I boxed as an amateur only.
How?
I was half and half. I would say I think my record is I was 3-4 or 4-3 or something like that. But I was more of a kickboxer than anything. My boxing's a kickboxer. I fought 14 times. I won 14 fights. As a boxer, when I couldn't use my feet, it was a little different.
How do you think, we were talking about your training value base and the fighters you like to work with and the enormous success you've had with that kind of blueprint. How would you get along working with an unorthodox guy like a Harold Graham or Nassim Hamid, somebody who had that world box office, world championship skills, talent and achievements, but they were just very much very unorthodox and against the script? How would you get on?
You know, it's difficult to say, but what I would ask, and I ask all the fighters that I'm gonna try to work with, is to be with me for 3 or 4 weeks. Let's train together for 3 or 4 weeks. That way, so we can see if we're going to get along, not only mentally, but the rhythm and the kind of training that I do. Then once we work 3 or 4 weeks, I don't want to be married to you for 6, 7 years if I'm not going to get along. So if we get along, then and you understand my philosophies and you understand what I need to do, then if you accept it, then we work. If not, then nothing lost.
Bermain Staverne's team today are saying that you guys have made a mistake. It's too much of a step up for a guy who's 7-0, and you're just bitten off more than you can chew. Can you respond to that perception?
Joe Joyce being the most decorated amateur, heavyweight amateur here in the UK, and being a silver medalist and progressing as he has progressed in my gym, I don't think this is an easy fight. Don't get me wrong, but these are the kind of fights at 33 years old that you need to take to be able to prepare you for the next year, the year after, to go against the Deontay Wilders, the Tyson Furies, and the Anthony Joshuas. If we don't take these kind of fights, we don't grow. And we need to grow, and we need to find out. We need to find out because, again, he's 33 years old, and Bermain presents the kind of fight and the kind of fighter that I want to see Joe fight.
You must be sick of getting asked wherever you go. I know people are asking you about it today, and I heard you say that Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, will make a decision, announcement about his future in the next
2 or 3 weeks. He will make a decision. Yes, he's weighing all his options, and he's met with everybody, and whatever he decides is going to be not only best for his career, best for his family, but best for boxing too.
But he's not going to retire.
Oh, absolutely not. I think that he's got too many things on the burner right now for himself.
Quick prediction for the main event on Saturday night at the O2 in London?
I think that James is 80% of what he was. If his shoulder's okay, I think that he wins easily. He boxes easily to decision. I don't think that Chris Jr. has the intestinal fortitude that his father had. His father had creativeness. His father had the will to win. I think that Jr. doesn't have that, and I think that'll be the difference.
Abel Sanchez, thank you very much for making yourself available for Glenn McCoy's Voice of Boxing. I bid you good luck on Saturday night, sir.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.